Hi there, my name is Anita Adefuye. I'm the CEO and founder of Advanced and Fulfilled Coaching Company, and this is a company that seeks to help racialized professionals in Canada establish their identities, advance in their careers, and live fulfilled lives. And in addition, I wear so many hats, but you can learn more about me on any of my social media platforms and other things that I do. So today, I just want to quickly talk about an important topic when it comes to building your career. And that's the topic on building effective relationships. I recently had the opportunity to have a conversation on LinkedIn, but unfortunately, I did not know that you cannot save messages on LinkedIn. So please, LinkedIn, fix that for yourselves and for the benefits of everybody. But I was hoping that I could have that information to that video to the replay to share here, but that's not the case. So I just wanted to just give a little bit of sharing on that topic here. And so, first of all, before I even talk about why, how to build effective relationships, I want to talk about why this is important. You need to build effective relationships at workplaces because you need people. No man is an island, and that's a no-brainer, right? But you think it's supposed to be common sense and common knowledge. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't act like that's common sense and common knowledge. They act like they can do things on their own. They don't talk to people. They don't make the efforts to interact. Now, especially if you're an immigrated professional to Canada, chances are that you even further isolate yourself because you're trying to, and I get it, you're trying to deal with the barriers on breaking into networks and places and build that relationship. It can be hard, but it's not impossible. Hard does not mean that it's impossible. It's doable. I've done it myself. One of the biggest jokes my husband would always have is, don't walk downtown with my wife. If you walk downtown with me, especially over lunch hour, well, we might never get to our destination because I will stop and say hi to different kinds of people. And I mean literally all kinds of people. So anyway, it's important because no man is an island. It's important because sometimes there are informations that you will get. There are information that you'll get only from, conversations with people. And if they don't trust you and they don't have that relationship with you, you'll never hear those conversations. Not every conversation happens in an official meeting room. So you also need the relationship because it is people who will speak for you. You will not always be in rooms where your name will be mentioned. How do you know and who speaks for you behind those closed doors if you don't have the relationships? And so and also just even avoiding pitfalls, right? If you don't know, there are some pitfalls within an organization, the do's and don'ts, understanding the culture of the place. You can only really fully grasp that when you have people that you communicate with, that you've had, and sometimes the way that you can fully understand and grasp that comes from the relationships that you're building. Anyway, today is not about talking about why it's important. I just wanted to drop some of those details there just so that we can fully appreciate the how to build the relationship. And if it's needed, if you really want to hear more about, the importance of building relationships in workplaces, feel free to let me know, and I'm happy to do a video for that. I got you guys. I got you. All right, so let's talk about the how. How do you build relationships in workplaces? Now, before I even jump into that, sorry, I just want to say this, okay? Because I hear, and this is a question that came up when I did this LinkedIn live. And I hear people often say things like, your colleague is not your best friend, stop trying to be friendly with people at work or whatever. I just want to address that very quickly because the truth is there are people who have found their spouses in workplaces. There are people who have found their best friends at workplaces. There are people who have built relationships that started out in the workplace and then transcended beyond the workplace. And, long after you have left that place, you still have those relationships with those people. So back to the joke about if you walk downtown with me, half the people you see me say hi to are not people that I work with. They may be people that I've worked with. There may be people that I just know even outside of work. Maybe I never worked with them, but I just know them. But the truth is that for so many of them, chances are that are people, the people that I've worked with, especially when it's people that don't look like me, talking about, skin color and all that. If they don't look like me, chances are that I met them first at a workplace. My husband and I went out one time to get something. We had got something off of Viraj. Viraj is a kind of like a second hand platform where you buy things from people. And then we got there, and I just said, "Hey," I won't mention the person's name. And I said, "Hey, what's up with you? How you doing? Been a while." And I was like, "Oh, what's up? How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good. What's up? Well, you live here? Yeah. Oh, you're the one we're buying stuff from. Oh, okay, interesting. Well, you've been chatting with my husband. Guess what? We got that item for free that day." And he said to my husband, I said, "Oh no, I know your wife is such a wonderful person." Yes, I am a wonderful person. And he said, "Well, yeah, you guys can just have it. It's okay. And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "See, told you guys." Because they were people in the car that day. So sometimes you never know. I mean, don't go about asking people for free. Don't build a relationship because you're looking for free stuff. But so you never know. All right. Yes, respect and maintain decorum at work, and respect and maintain boundaries at work. However, be open. And that's the thing that I want to say. Be open. People will give you unspoken invitations to come into their space. You keep an unspoken invitation for people to come into your space. If and when and where there are commonalities that even transcend the workplace, that starts to build the foundation. That starts to become the foundation that you can build a relationship on. And if there is nothing and you determine that, well, outside of work, I have nothing in common with this person, I don't want to have any conversations with them, then keep it cordial and keep it strictly about work. And of course, you won't show up on your first day and become BFFs with anybody at work. I just want to make that known because it's important. The stories and the conversations around things like, well, your whatever, your colleagues are not your best friends, yes, mind what you tell them, be careful. But I also just want to correct that notion because you never know. I've had great relationships that transcend workplaces, continue to have those people in my life, and I'm grateful for them. Okay, so how do you build effective relationships at work? Number one is show up authentically. How you show up really matters, right? How you show up really matters. Be authentic. Don't show up as A at work, but then you're B outside. Because here's the thing, the truth is that when you're not an authentic person, something starts to happen on the inside of you. Now, a couple of things you might want to ask yourself if you find yourself showing up in an unauthentic manner and inauthentic manner, whatever the right English is, you might want to have a deeper conversation with yourself on why you're not able to show up authentically. There might be some value conflicts going on between what the organization stands for, the work that you do, and what you identify as core values to you. If there are core value conflicts, you won't be able to show up in your most authentic self, but show up authentically. Don't try to fake an accent you don't have. People can see and read through those things. Don't try to say you're something that you're not. People can see and read through those things. Don't try to show up, and let me talk to my African sisters here. Like I respect you all in your weaves and wigs and all of that, but stop trying to give the vibe like that's your actual hair. Let's go there. Yes, I'm going there. Stop trying to give the vibe like that's your actual hair. Hello, to all the other non-kinky haired people. For many of us, it's not our actual hair. Our hair is kinky, and for some, depending on how thick or light, it's spongy. It's beautiful. You guys show it off. People want to be like you. Show it off. I mean, and I get it. Some people wear it for convenience and all that, but if you're wearing it because you're trying to look like somebody else, you are not Karen. Move on. Okay, let's talk about that one because it matters. The reason many of you struggle with showing up authentically is because starting from how you look, how you sound, how you dress, and everything else. How many of us will be proud to wear our native attires to work? I'm not saying go and rebel or anything. No, but I'm just saying that listen to yourself, how you're showing up. Are you authentic? Because if you're not, it affects your confidence levels. And when your confidence is impacted, it will affect the value of the work that you put out. Okay? So be authentic. Don't try to pretend to be who or what you are not. If you don't drink, you can go up. If you want, you can go out to when they say, "Oh, we're going to have a drink." You can sit there and drink Coke. Don't go and try to drink just to impress. If you're not a drinker, don't go and try to drink just to impress or to try to belong. Don't go outside of your core values and your own boundaries just to try to belong. That one is very key and very important, and it's why I'm investing time in it. For the others, we're just going to run through. Because when you're showing up authentically, the truth is that all the other things will start to fall in place. So the other thing is communicate openly and respectfully. Communicate openly and respectfully. Be direct. Now, let me again talk to immigrated professionals. For so many of us, we're probably coming from cultures where you can't talk to someone who is older than you can't talk back, you can't look them in the eyes. Those things are regarded as signs of weakness, signs of not lack of confidence here. So you want to learn how to be direct, be clear when communicating with your colleagues, whether it's a superior, a subordinate, or whoever. All right. And make sure that you're listening to them, you're listening to their ideas, and you provide feedback. Feedback is very key. You're not only providing feedback, you're also open to receiving feedback. Okay. So that's number two. Number three, learn to show appreciation to people. I currently work with Farm Credit Canada, and they have this amazing thing called Magnifique, where you can show appreciation to a colleague, and then they earn points, and they can use those points accumulated over time to buy things on our FCC shop. Yeah. If you want to come work for FCC, let me know. It's a great place to work. All right. Wow, they've really gotten to me. Anyway, I barely ever talk about where I work. Most people know I work. They don't know where I work, or they know I work for government, but they don't know where. I mean, unless you go to my LinkedIn, then you can know. But anyway, they really have gotten to me for me to mention them like that. Well, that's a good thing. Anyway, so yeah, so you get an opportunity to tell people you appreciate them and give them a shout out, and then they earn points. That's great, right? Not every organization is set up that way. Now, what you can do is sometimes even just go on LinkedIn. People go on LinkedIn to brag about themselves. Go on LinkedIn to appreciate your colleagues. Call them out and say, hey, Rita, it was really great working on this, whatever project with you. I really appreciated your expertise or the knowledge that you brought on, being mindful on our stakeholder engagement or relationship management or whatever it is. I'm glad and I can't see it. I can't wait to see where this leads. Da, 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 da. Just say something, appreciate them, be specific about something so that it doesn't just feel like fluff. Be specific about something, and again, remember, be authentic, right? Authenticity is both in how you are showing up, but also in how you are uh, uh, um, um, feeding into somebody else, right? So, and genuinely find something that you really appreciate about their contribution and talk about it and appreciate them, give them a shout out. If you have like sticky notes, walls where you put appreciation stars and whatever, give them a star. These things are important. All right. People don't remember you for the great work that you did per se. They remember you for how you made them feel in trying to do your great work. And that's the truth. Okay. So you want to be able to give people, even in breaking down the barriers to build those relationships with people, part of what you do is that you show appreciation, you show up in a way that, allows them to see you for you, right? So show appreciation, thank them for their work, and then that gives you opportunity to start to build positive, lasting relationships. All right. So number three, four now, collaborate and share knowledge. No man is an island. Remember, I said that as part of the reasons why this is important. No man is an island. Now, not only is no man an island, a lot of workplaces, collaboration is very key. There are very few workplaces these days, especially in a virtual world, where you have to work alone. Very few places. Lots of places encourage collaboration. And people are talking about tearing down walls. People are talking about, building lateral organizations, whatever that means. And people are talking about all those different kinds of things. But the whole concept, the whole idea behind all that is that they want people to be more collaborative, to talk more to each other, all right, and share knowledge. You can't keep knowledge and ideas to yourself because you're trying to, take all the glory. That doesn't fly. It doesn't work. It makes absolutely no sense. And for those of you that like to take the glory for other people's work, be guided. All right. So collaborate, work with together with people. Now, let me even say this. Seek to find ways to work even outside of your unit. If you're in an organization where they allow, as part of learning and development opportunities, they allow you to work in a different unit within the organization, look for opportunities like that and use that to build more relationships. Build relationships across the organization, in different divisions, in different units, in branches, whatever you guys call them, departments, whatever you call them in your organization. Build relationships all the way to the top. Build relationships on the continuum, vertically speaking and horizontally speaking. Build relationships across different boards. Okay, that's very important. And then seek ways to work together and share knowledge, right? And part of that sharing knowledge can also be, a lot of organizations might have opportunities for volunteer work. Put your hands up for those things. Yes, it might take a little bit more of your time, but put your hand up for those things. Show up to non-work events that are organized by your work. Show up to those things, because half the time you won't even be building the relationship while you're doing your reports or you're doing your analysis or whatever. That's not the best time to build the relationships. It's in the non-work related hangouts, the dinner parties, the birthday parties. It's those places that you really would start to build it, because people typically are less guarded in those events than they are when you're actually in the heat of the work in office during work hours. So find ways to collaborate, share knowledge. If your team or another team is struggling with something that you have knowledge in, be willing to put up your hand and say, "Hey, you guys, I can come help you with this. I happen to have worked in this area before, and I understand the tools that are needed to work there. I'm happy to come give your team a little bit of orientation or information knowledge or whatever. I allow you guys ask me questions, and I can provide some answers." So collaborate and share knowledge. Don't keep things to yourself. And then be reliable and trustworthy. Number five, be reliable and trustworthy. Recently at work, I did something with a partner, and I asked her and I said, "Can you share feedback with me?" I found it interesting that one of the feedback she gave to me was, "I like the fact that you're a committed partner. You show up when you say you're going to show up. You're not afraid to say you don't know when you don't know." But I found it really interesting that apparently she was paying attention, and she said that even when you can't meet up with a commitment you've made, I like the fact that you give me advance heads up to say, "I may not be able to get back to you within 10 minutes or within 10 days like I said I was going to. I'll get back to you now within 12 or 13." I like that you were always doing that, because then I can plan myself around. Now, I've received all sorts of feedback before, but I found that one really interesting, because guess what? Without realizing, I've told I'm a trustworthy person. I keep to my words, in other words, right? And when I was doing that, I was not trying to show off as I keep to my words. I was just doing what I thought was respectful. Okay, so remember, communicating openly, but also being respectful, right? So you never know who is leaving you threads of, "Can I trust this person?" And then they leave you threads of those things. Remember I said that there are non-spoken ways that people invite you into their spaces. Sometimes it's that they won't tell you anything. They might just leave you some threads. It might just be, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And they're paying attention to how you're showing up on it, or how you're responding, or how you're reacting, right? And once they determine to them within themselves that you're reliable and trustworthy, then they tend to open up more. And I mean, we all do this in some ways, okay? And then finally, be open to feedback. I've talked about this a little bit before. The only way you get better at anything is that you get feedback. Constructive criticism. I'm not talking about somebody who's trying to put you down and says, "Well, I wish that you would always be this, but you're never this, you never do this, you never do." No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about constructive feedback. Or I really appreciate that, you talked about XYZ during this session. I was really hoping to hear more on this and that and that. Can you maybe share more on maybe why you didn't go in that direction? Because I feel like if you had, this is the value that you would have gotten out of it, right? And then that person gives an opening for a conversation. There's feedback that is just a complaining and whining about you and how you do work, and there's a feedback that is really intended to help you. So be open to it, but also be willing to give it, because people are constantly looking for ways to be better and get better. And the truth is that people will remember you and appreciate you more for how you showed up in, how you provided feedback to help them be better at what they do, because now you've helped them identify, a blind spot in themselves, and not just identify it, but you've also had the conversation on how they can cover it. They'll feel like because you're there, they know that you can cover them, and that's an interesting, that's a remarkable experience that you can leave people with. So I just want you to, always think about this, which is that give yourself the time to build the relationships. It takes time, it takes effort. Sometimes you might even break trust with people, but seek to always rebuild if you find out that trust has been broken. The benefits far outweigh the risks. That I can tell you. As someone who says hi to everybody over lunch hour, the benefit far outweighs the risk. All right. And stop, those of you that like looking for relationships of people that look like you and sound like you, stop it. Mm, stop it. Find where other people hang out. If you don't play golf, just show up to a golfing game. Try it. All right. At the very least, you know that you're just using that to help yourself break into, get out of your comfort zone to, make that effort to try and reach into the other person's world. That's how you get to know people. Be willing to risk getting into their world and feeling all the awkwardness. It will be awkward, I can tell you. I still get into awkward situations a lot of times till date. But when the barriers are down and the walls are broken and you finally build that relationship, the benefits far outweigh the risks. So I'm looking forward to hearing which of these stands out the most to you, and I hope this has been very helpful for you. I look forward to sharing more. I ask that you guys let me know what kinds of topic you'd like me to address and talk on. As a career coach, I often tell people that there are so many things that can impact the career of a person. There are so many things that sometimes gets thrown at us, even as women, especially even as women. So it can be broad, right? And I want to be able to speak to the things that really matter to you. So if there are specific topics, questions that you have, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will be watching and reading and responding, and want to build the content that really add value to you. Thank you so much. If you are not subscribed yet, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you know every time that I have new videos. I talk about career, I talk about sexual violence, mental health. I talk about issues that affect women, teenagers. Yeah, and I talk about faith. So I look forward to seeing you in any of my videos. So don't be surprised. I told you all I wear many hats. So don't be surprised if tomorrow you turn around and you hear me talking about faith and like, give your life to Jesus. Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you. Take care and bye.